Welcome to the Andy Ruther Show. Here is your host, Andy Ruther.
Welcome back to the Andy Ruther Show. That is me, Andy Ruther, coming to you on this very cold day here in Cincinnati, Ohio. We got the winter. It's here, man. We got a bunch of snow the other day. Got to have a snow day with my daughter Isla'a. We said, you're not going to daycare. You're going to stay home with dad. You're going to get a snow day. We're going to play out in the snow. You're going to go sled riding, which she did for the first time. It was a first for her. She'd never gone sled riding, right? So that was a first for her, and it was a lot of fun. So she stayed home. We sent our baby Molly. We said, you're going to daycare. You're going to go. But Isla'a stayed home. We went sled riding, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. She eats too much snow. I posted on Instagram and on TikTok. She wouldn't stop eating the snow. She wouldn't stop eating it. I was like, you need to chill out in the snow. Like, don't eat it if it's yellow. Don't eat it if it's brown. Don't eat it if it's black. Obviously, she doesn't know that. She's a 2-year-old kid. Don't eat any. They are such savages, by the way. I honestly think she'd eat shit. Like, I'm dead serious. I bet if I put a turd on the floor or on the kitchen table, she'd be like, what's that? And put it in her mouth. They're animals. They're straight savages. She wouldn't stop eating. Just kept eating the snow. I was like, okay, we got to go inside. You got to eat lunch. We're going to have an actual food, let's go inside. But it was fun, man. It was great to see her sled riding for the first time. She was geeked. And it was a good day. Brittany was jealous, always jealous. It's like, I want to do that. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Look, this is my livelihood. You go whatever you do and go to the pharmacy. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I get to keep her home. We're going to have a snow day. And all the kids had school off. They don't ever go to school. The kids they don't go to school. Do they ever go to school anymore? Anyone else notice this? I sound like an old man. I sound like a boomer, but they just don't go to school. Nobody goes to school. They had all Thanksgiving off, the whole week. You know, when I grew up, not that old, I'm 44. When I grew up, you got Thursday and Friday off. Now they get all week off. They didn't by the way, the roads were pretty good. The roads were fine. I find this crazy that the daycares, here's the difference. The daycares were open because they are there to make money, right? So the daycares are open and the schools are all closed. But what's crazy to me is that they announced the school closures way before they've even attempted to treat the roads here, right? Like, I was up real early. I was up at about 5 a.m. that day because Molly got up early and was hungry. So I went in there to give her a bottle. So I was on my phone at like 5 a.m. All these schools had already announced that they were closed. All these schools. Like Cincinnati Public Schools, which I'm in that district, announced at 4 a.m. Closed. Here's the thing, guys. They don't want to work. Like, that's a controversial take, and people are like, oh, the teachers. They don't want to work. That's the truth. They don't want to work. Now, busing, I get. Busing, the roads could be dicey. But again, you're canceling school 4 a.m. If the kids don't have to get there until like 8 or 9, there's a lot of time that can pass to get those roads fixed. Dude, people get so defensive on teachers. It's wild to me. They get so defensive. I've ranted about this before. They get so defensive. Dude, here's the thing about teaching. As a guy who has his degree in education, as a guy who taught for a year, only a year, but I still was a teacher. I'm in the system. I'm in the system. I think a lot of these teachers just want to coast by and get their pension. Right? Because that's the thing. Like, you're not really, like, are you really held accountable if you're a teacher? I'm being dead serious. That's why, like, truth be told, it's something I can always fall back on. Now, I might be ruining it with this rant, Might be completely ruining that idea. I mean, I've joked with Brittany forever. I could always fall back on teaching. They always need teachers. They always need male teachers. That's the truth. They need teachers. A lot of people don't want it. I'm not saying it's the easiest job, but it's one of the jobs where like you can just coast by for 20 to 25 years and then you're set up pretty nice after that. You are. I mean, it's like a lot of professions, truthfully. People don't want to talk about it. A lot of the ones that have through the government, like a teacher or a firefighter or a police officer. Now those are a little different professions for sure. But all I'm saying is like you can get that pension, you can build up your 401k, amazing benefits. Not the pay's not the best. The pay's not the best. You can make up for that in great benefits, though. I've gone over this. You can make up for that in great benefits. You know, if you're making 45, 50 grand a year, which isn't much, but you're getting 30 grand in benefits, I mean, it can't offset it, especially when you have kids. Because healthcare costs, they're insane. They're absolutely insane. That's all I'm saying, guys. Back to the point. You can, do they really want to work? They're like, a little snow. I don't feel like going in. Principal, school district, superintendent, whoever it is like, yeah, we're just going to cancel it. But those daycares now, they're like, well, we get that money. You can risk driving on those roads, bringing your 6-month-old. We got to get that money. Dude, Isla'a is turned about her new daycare. She is turned. Brittany was so worried. She was so worried this would be such a hard transition. And I really wasn't that worried. She only knew the one daycare she had been at for 2.5 years. I knew when she went to the new one, there was so much structure. There was so much organization. It's so buttoned up. I was like, she's just going to go from activity to activity to activity. And she loves it. She absolutely loves it. Dude, she loves it so much that when we went to her old daycare where Molly is still at on Tuesday, on the snow day, she didn't even want to go inside. Isla'a didn't even, it was like the ex. You ever know you're going to see an ex, you don't want to talk to them, you don't want to deal with them. It was like running into an ex is how Isla'a was treating it. We pulled up and she goes, this is my old school. I don't want to go inside. I said, well, Isla'a, Molly's in there. We got to get your sister. I said, we'll go get her and come right back to the car. She goes, right back to the car, Daddy? I said, yeah, right back to the car. And no lie, we walked in there and it was like she was just sticking up her hand. Just like, she wasn't doing it, but it was like she was like, talk to the hand, bitches. Dude, she's hilarious. She didn't want to really talk to, she didn't want to deal with anybody. She had been in her new daycare for 1 day. No lie, 1 day. 1 day, and she was already, I'm over the old place. One of her old teachers walked in the room when we were getting Molly, and she kind of gave her the cold shoulder. And then she did it again yesterday when we picked up Molly. She literally wants no part of her old daycare. No part. It's like she moved on and she hit that upgrade button, man. She just hit the shit out of that upgrade button. It's like she found, again, I always equate it to dating or relationship. It's like she found a better boyfriend or girlfriend, in life. You find a better boyfriend or girlfriend and you're like, man, what was I doing? What was I doing with that person for all those years? That's kind of how she's treating the old daycare. Absolutely loves the new daycare, which is like awesome for us and awesome for Brittany, because Brittany was all worried, like, how's she going to handle it? I'm like, dude, she's handling it great. She hates the old daycare. But we hyped it up. That was the move. We hyped it up. We had a big hype marketing plan here. Big hype game going. You move into the new school. It's a big girl school, all that. You can brainwash them. You really can. You can just fuel it. Like the old school is for little kids. It's for your sister. She's a baby. Blah blah. Just drill that in her head for a few weeks. Boom. This is what happens. So it's working out, which is great. It's absolutely great. And that's one thing. And now we got to wait. We got to wait to have Molly there for 7 or 8 months, which will be a thing until they can go together. But yeah. I don't know what to do with her. I don't know what to do with her right now, Molly, guys. I don't know what to do. She again last night woke up, was puking everywhere. Just puking everywhere. I don't like we're now debating, does she have an allergy that we had thought maybe for a while? She wakes up, she stands up. I didn't hear her. I was in the other room with Isla'a, putting her to bed. And I'm talking yakking an entire bottle up. She did that on Thanksgiving. She's done it like 4 or 5 times. It's all over the bed, all over her, all over the floor. It's fucking gross, man. It's disgusting. Dude, it like mentally, emotionally breaks you. It will break you. And I don't know if it's because I'm an old dad or just because we don't have answers. We're trying to figure it out. The pediatricians, truth be told, I've said this, have been pretty worthless for us. ChatGPT, we thought we figured it out. I thought I figured it out. No. It's just like one thing after another with her. We're just like, God, can we just have a normal night where we put you to sleep and I can go relax and then watch some fucking TV or something, man. It's unbelievable. It's just like, I don't know. It never ends. It never ends. And I sit there and I talk to her and I'm like, yo, hey, can you just get it together? And she's looking at me like, you're crazy, Dad. I mean, we'll figure it out. I'm sure we'll eventually figure it out. She's still just a baby, but you're just like, man. My head keeps going like, dude, you're 44, man. Time she's 6, you're 50, all that stuff. It's just like, man, I don't have all life. I don't have all life. Can I just relax for a second? What are we saying here in the comments here from Cam? I got cock blocked by my oldest because he was puking last night. Literally perfect timing. Perfect, terrible timing. Oh yeah, bro. Kids, terrible timing. I mean, he's right. He's right. He says, I just worked on 1 hour sleep. Kids will make you wonder what the fuck you did with all your extra time before having them. And you love them though. And you do. That's the thing. That's the thing about having kids. Brittany and I, we talk about it all the time. We go, what the hell did we do? What did we do before we had 2 kids? I was talking to her about that the other day. I said, you remember when we were that first winter of when we were dating? Do you remember how great it was? You come to the house, we'd be in the basement, we'd have Roscoe, we had that big old couch that I was living in my parents' house, right? So we were trying to figure out what to do with it. I was like, we'd have that big ass, my dad had a big ass TV. We'd have NFL games on Sunday. You'd be falling in and out of sleep, and I'd maybe doze off a little on that couch. Just have all day to just watch NFL, which I always have it on now here too, but I'm busy with stuff, right? Just all day, take naps. Now you're like, what do I do? Like, I don't even know what sleep is now. You forget. You're like, what did I? You realize until you have kids, you don't realize, I should say, is like how much time you just waste. You just waste so much time. I mean, getting them to daycare, which will lead to my next point, as far as handicap parking, because I had an epiphany today when I went to Kroger. Getting them to daycare is like a chore. A 3-year-old, a near 3-year-old, and a baby is like. Brittany always says, "Why did it take you so long to get them there?" I'm like, have you dealt with it? Have you dealt with this? I mean, I turn off Paw Patrol in the morning, I let Isla watch a few minutes as I'm like heating up the car and stuff. Dude, she acts like I just shot her. Ah, 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 ah. I was like, dude, it's a cartoon that you've seen a million times. You've literally seen every episode a million times. I'm turning it off. You were going to school. Just such a nightmare to then get them in the car. And right now it's like 20 degrees out, right? And there's snow everywhere. And you're just like, dude, why is this such a process? And again, it's first world problems. I'm aware of that, but it's a process, man. And that was my epiphany today because it's such a thing. You ever try to park somewhere in a parking lot with two young kids and try to get them? It's a pain in the ass. Why don't they have young family parking or pregnant woman parking? Huh? Why has no one talked about this? The local Kroger where I go in Anderson Township here in Cincinnati, in the suburbs of Anderson, the mega Kroger, I've talked about this on Dirty Sports, literally has, I'm not exaggerating, like 50, it's a massive Kroger. It has like 50 handicap parking spots. It has like 50. It's absurd. There's not that many old people that are going there. There's just not. Why don't they have parking for pregnant women? Why don't they do that, huh? Why don't they have a sign, with the emoji of the pregnant woman? Why don't they have that? Or like spots for people with young kids. You ever try to get two kids out of the car when it's 20 degrees in December? It's not fun. You gotta make sure they're wearing their hats and their gloves and there's snot everywhere. And you're literally just trying to get them from the car into the grocery store. Such a simple task, yet so difficult. And they want you to park all, you know what? I park in it. I'll be straight up with you guys. I park in Handicap all the damn time. I pull in there and to be honest, I kind of enjoy doing it. I never did it my whole life. I never parked in Handicap, but now I'm just like, dude, I'm not parking far away. I have a baby and a 2-year-old. You think I'm going to park far away? No. I'm going to roll into this Handicap thing like I own it. Why don't they have that? No, has anyone ever mentioned this? Has anyone ever thought of this idea? Oh, well, they say, oh, people could abuse it. Well, they can abuse the Handicap thing too. Has anyone ever gotten a ticket, a Handicap parking ticket? I always wonder that when I do it. I'm like, I always say, I would love to literally be walking out of the grocery store with my 2 little kids. Shopping cart full of groceries. I would love to catch somebody trying to give me a ticket for parking in Handicap. I'd say, you see this? You see this? You see what I got here? You think I'm going to park all the way over there? It's 20 degrees out? Get fucked, bro. I'll rip that ticket up right. I'll give it to Isla'a and have her throw him at it. Throw the damn thing at him. How would that even work, though? Like, seriously, who would give the ticket anyway? Who's giving the ticket at a grocery store? Nobody's patrolling the grocery store. So, yeah, that's my advice to anybody. Like, dude, just park in the Handicap if you got a bunch of kids. It's like when both Isla'a and Molly were born, the hospital, St. Elizabeth in Northern Kentucky, where they were born, they had 1 million spots for clergy parking, for priests. So, like, the closest spots that you could park at for the hospital, the best spots were for clergy. And I always parked in it. I was like, there's literally maybe, out of like the five or six spots, there was always maybe one priest there. I was like, nobody's using these. I'm going to park in this. Especially when Isla was in the NICU for 2 weeks. You think I'm going to search? Same thing. It was real cold because she was born right, in February, and then Molly was born in January. It's like they're born during the winter here in Ohio. You think I'm driving around the hospital parking lot to look for a spot to go see my kid who's all hooked up to a bunch of shit in the NICU? I'm already an emotional mess. My daughter's dealing with some serious life things. You think I'm gonna drive around and look? No, no, I'll run over a priest. That's my spot, bro. Better up your prayer game. Get my kid out of here, man. I want to. I almost want to do a deep dive on the. I've said this a million times on the handicap stuff. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. No one's been like, hey man, what about pregnant women? It's not easy to walk, especially when all these handicapped people. A lot of them are just obese. A lot of them are just obese. They're just a fatty. You're not really handicapped. Now, that pregnant woman who's carrying a second life form, she should get to park there. She should. Or again, if you got a bunch of little kids, it's not easy. I'll create my own damn signs. Isla was she was very sweet to me there. I want to give some love to my little girl. I had a moment. I was putting her to bed the other night. I talk about my parents a lot, and I talk about especially my mom, and there's a picture of my mom on her nightstand, and she knows my parents, Mimi and Dalt. She knows them. As the grandkids called them, Mimi and Dalt. But anyway, I was saying how, Mimi's always watching you, especially if you're being bad. Like, I kind of let her know, like, Mimi's watching you. And we were just, talking, and then she said, she knows now that Mimi is my mommy. And Gigi, that's what they call Brittany's mom, the grandkids. Gigi is Brittany's mommy. So like she knows that. She gets that. She understands that at this age. Gigi is mommy's mom, and Mimi is daddy's mom. And then just the other day, as I was rocking her, she goes, "Where's your mommy?" And oh my God. Dude, it just like, I don't know what happened. It just like, just like a dagger in my heart. I just started bawling. I like, I don't think Isla's ever seen me cry like that. She hasn't. And she just goes, "Daddy, where's your mommy?" And I was crying, and I said, "She's in heaven." That's what I tell her. And it's like, it's just so tough to explain that. And then she made me cry even more because she was so sweet. She gave me a hug, and she goes, "It's okay, Daddy." And I was like, oh my God, you are so sweet right now. You can be such an asshole. Like, you can be so bad, but like, you're so sweet right now. I didn't even tell Brittany. I didn't even tell her. It like really, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's because it's around Christmas time and I just had my birthday, because I think about my parents during that time, but it's just like, just how she said it. She just goes, "Daddy, where's your mommy?" And you just like, you can't explain it. I don't know if I said this. My therapist told me kids don't understand death until about age 8. Like, it's that late. It's crazy. Age 8. Like, they don't comprehend death. They don't fully grasp it. They don't fully understand it until age 8. So it's good that I know that now because, I have this little toddler. It's like, how do I explain it to her? But I think it's good for her to see. I always think it's good for her to see that emotion from me because she knows it's real. She knows I was sad. And then last night when I was putting her to bed, she's like, "Daddy, you're not crying tonight." And I said, "No." I said, "I'm not crying." But I let her know. I was like, "I miss Mimi every day. I miss Dalt every day." And obviously, I know she can't fully grasp that. But it was just like, I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was. It just like I was just so overcome with emotion just from her asking that. And I'm sure it's all these different factors of like her never getting to know my parents and me always wanting to or think about my parents around her and Molly. And it's just, I don't know. It was just like I had such an outpouring of emotion. It was just such a real moment. And again, she was just so sweet. She just like, gave me a big hug. I was rocking her. So we were in the rocker and she just said, "Daddy, it's okay." And it's like, what's crazy is you have a 2-year-old kid who gets it in a way though. I think that's why like it gets so touching because she's like comforting me. It's the reversal and it's powerful, man. It is. I talk about all this stuff and I rant about being a parent and being an old dad and I laugh or I get annoyed or whatever it is. But like, it's those moments where you're like, ah, you're so sweet, man. You're such a good kid. Again, even though you can be such an asshole. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough because like, truth be told, like we don't know what we're doing with our future. We don't know. And it's been so tough with Molly that like I always just say, "Can I do this again if we wanna try for a 3rd kid? Can I do this again? Can I do it? Can I, like, mentally and emotionally do this if we wanna try for a 3rd kid?" I don't know. By the way, I got some DMs from the show last week. I talked a lot about ADD last week and what I think is overprescribing kids, and I by the way, I appreciate everybody's feedback. I got some nice DMs from people being like, "Look, man, I got my kid on meds for their ADD. And I just want to let you guys know, like, I'm not judging that. I know as a parent, like, you got to make difficult decisions as a parent. You have to make very difficult decisions for your child's life. That's the truth. And that's your decision. And I don't judge that. And by the way, I don't, some kids need medication. I don't know if I just didn't make my point clear. And all I was saying was I think kids are overprescribed in this country for medication, for ADD, for ADHD. I think a lot of it, always follow the money with the pharmaceutical, big pharma and all that. That's all I was saying. Follow the money. And I don't blame parents because I think parents are not put in easy spots. And I got some people who messaged me like, "Hey man, my kid needs it. Uh, I didn't want to do this." I would never judge that. Like, I would never judge that. Like, as a parent, I know how hard this is. I know how difficult this is. That's why, like, I don't judge parents on how they want to treat vaccinations with their kids. If you don't have a kid, I just don't think you should judge whether they want to get their kids all vaccinated, not vaccinated, change the schedule around. Like, it's the same thing. It's their kids' health, right? So I try not to judge. I just wanted to clarify, and I think I made my point pretty clear for the most part last week. I just wanted to kind of circle back to that for a quick minute. So I was talking about teachers earlier in the show. Well, we have another teacher who got caught banging a student. I used to talk about this a lot because that's like fascinating to me that it just keeps happening. Well, we got another one. I saw this. I love that. I love again that my like algorithm just kicks me this stuff because I used to look at so much of this stuff. This is from the New York Post, right? Always the wild headlines and wild gossip I get from the New York Post. Headline reads, "Former teacher of the month accused of having sex with teen in backseat of her Jeep." A married one-time teacher of the month in Kansas is accused of having sex with a 17-year-old student, including multiple times in the backseat of her Jeep. Art teacher Nicole Hernandez, also known as Nikki Bard, allegedly groomed the boy she'd met in a middle school before they moved to the Wichita North High School, according to an affidavit seen by the Wichita Eagle. He described how she befriended him, then isolated him from others before the relationship allegedly turned sexual in early 2024. The affidavit slated. And again, I'll pull up her picture. Again, we have a, here it is. Where is it? I mean, like she's a pretty decent looking chick is my point again. Now the mugshot's not the best. She didn't look too happy in the mugshot. She got arrested. But like, she's not an ugly woman. She's like a cute next door woman. That's what's wild about all this. She's not an ugly woman. I mean, look at her. She's like cute. She's like a cute chick. So she was arrested, and let's see how this all played out. Apparently, this was like, here's what's crazy about this case. She like worked on this kid. This was like, you hear the word grooming a lot. I feel it's very liberally used now. It's loosely used. Everybody's like, oh, they groomed him, they groomed her, they groomed him, whatever it is. They grew like this kind of is the actual definition of grooming. Because she started working on this kid all the way going back to middle school. So let's just read what the article says. The physical contact started as Bard touching or rubbing his back or shoulders before she began giving him hugs, according to the affidavit. Bard told the boy her marriage was struggling. They all do that. They all do that, by the way. All these teachers are like, yo, the marriage is the problem. And by the way, like a young kid is like, doesn't probably even pick up on that, especially boys. Boys are stupid. Like girls mature way quicker. I don't think a young boy is even picking up on that. So she said the marriage was struggling and he gave him her personal cell number. She also sent love letters. They all get like this too. It's so loony. One letter said, I hope and pray one day I get the chance to be with you and know that I love you. By the teen senior year, dude, she started working on him in like middle school. This chick, dude, she's got some serious issues. By the teen senior year, Bard allegedly started meeting him off school grounds, even getting his mom's approval to go on a trip to an art center. She's an art teacher, by the way, where she held his hand for the first time, court documents state. At school, the physical contact allegedly escalated, with Bard kissing the teen on the neck during their hugs and repeatedly asking him if he wanted her to kiss him. Bro, I barely kissed Brittany on the neck. I mean, she getting all lovey-dovey up in school. He was nervous and eventually said yes, as far as kissing, the affidavit states. Bard told the boy to act normal and keep their relationship a secret, the student told investigators. Now here's where it really starts. She allegedly invited him to her office 3 times during the last week of school, ordering him to touch her while saying things to encourage him to continue touching her, the affidavit states. On graduation night, Bard allegedly asked the victim if he wanted to have sex in her car after telling him to meet her in a random street, according to court documents. The student said he was nervous and felt pressured, the affidavit states. Bard allegedly told the still underage student it was okay and they won't get in trouble because he graduated. Afterward, she offered the boy alcohol, which he refused. Damn. Bro. She can give you a little less some, and then give you some booze. Again, I can't even like mentally place myself in this situation. as a senior in high school with like a decent looking teacher who just banged me in her car and then is like, yo, you want some natty light? I'll get you that good stuff you kids drink. You want some natural light, all that crap we used to drink. You want some Mad Dog 2020? That is wild, man. Later, while classes were still in session, but seniors were no longer in class, Bard allegedly would meet up with the student up to 4 times a week to have sex in the backseat of her Jeep, according to the affidavit. She also allegedly texted the boy nude photos, some of which he later showed investigators along with the love notes. The teen eventually cut off the relationship with Bard, but she allegedly continued to show up at his place of work, once leaving candy on his car while it was parked in his driveway. What a lunatic. Bro, they're all, aren't they all kind of like this? That's how Miss Nutley was, the teacher who banged the kid from my high school. They're all stage 5 clingers, stage 10 clingers, whatever it is. They're all Isla Fisher from Wedding Crashers, except the situation is they're teachers and they act like this around their students. She showed up to his work. Again, though, dude, you could be that's like a boss move. Like, yo, man, is that Mrs. Bard? And she's showing up at Taco Bell. He's like, yeah, man, you all banging her? He's like, what? He's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna give her some of that Supreme Crunch Wrap in her Jeep, if you know what I mean. It's crazy. She left candy on his car. Like, that's messed up, man. That's like he's just a child. Like, he's still a teenager. He's still 17. She was teacher in the month in a Facebook post from her former school in January 2020. I guess she was arrested all the way May 22nd of this year and was released after posting a bond. She's charged with 4 felony counts of having unlawful sexual relations with the student, and her arraignment is scheduled for December 19th. I would love to have like a psychologist break this down. I don't know if I've said that before, but just like, why are that's my question always, is why? Why are all these women suddenly doing it? Because I don't think this happened when I was a kid. I just don't, because everybody would talk. I just don't think it happened. I really don't. I think technology is one of the main fuels behind this. Because back in the day, let's say a teacher thought a boy was cute. I don't know. Let's say she's like attracted. She's like a 25-year-old teacher and she's attracted to a 16 or 17-year-old kid. Cell phones didn't exist, right? You couldn't get the kid's number. You couldn't send him naughty text, nudies. You couldn't do that. So I think like technology has just kind of accelerated this. So these women who have this fetish or derangement, I don't know what you want to call it. Again, like, we can debate what being an adult is at what point, at what age. That's like the whole thing of like a 17-year-old boy and a 25-year-old. Like, this sounds like he didn't want to do it and he felt coerced. He felt coerced into it. So this is different. I don't know. But in all these instances, it seems like the boy cuts it off. The teenage kid cuts it off, and then the teacher just is like showing up like Looney Tunes, just all the time. Again, she was married, man. That's my point I always go back to. Like, these guys, again, you just don't recover from this as a male, man. Your wife's cheating on you. Your wife's going behind your back with a scared 16, 17-year-old kid. Like, he's scared. He's inexperienced. He's vulnerable. Like, he doesn't even want a part of this. And she's just like preying on him. Wild, man. I mean, it's everywhere. Again, this is Kansas. Like, Not a bad looking chick is my point. Like, she could have found a guy on Bumble. She could have found a dude on Hinge. She could have made it work. But this thing is everywhere. That's another thing. Don't raise your daughters to be groomer teachers. I'll add that to my list of like, don't raise my daughter to be this. The Andy Ruther Show hotline. What is it? We have a hotline here, don't we? Here it is. All right. 859-935-0078. That's the hotline. You guys can give a ring or you can DM me. I appreciate that. Again, you guys have been pretty open and honest in the DMs. Shoot me a DM at Andy Ruther on all social media. I'll be there and I'll definitely respond or talk about it on the show and engage. All right, guys, that's the show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. You guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week. Peace.